Hi everyone and welcome back to the course. In this video, we'll talk about the Apparmor and the Seccomp profiles. Both of those profiles, both Apparmor and Seccomp, are responsible to provide kernel enhancement features to limit system calls. So let's first talk about the Apparmor, which is the profile with which we're going to work mostly in that section. So Apparmor enables the administrator to assign each running process to secure profile and define file system, assess network capabilities, and specific execution rules. So it basically provides protection for external and internal threats, enabling the system administrator to associate secure profile with a specific application with the goal to restrict some specific application capabilities depending on the use case. So normally the Apparmor is enabled by default for Debian-based distributions. And let's go now to the terminal and check if we have it already installed. So here I'm on my Linux VM and I have a terminal opened. And the first thing I will do is I will actually make sure that I'm a root user, because right now I'm with my username. So just write sudo su, then write your password and go to the main directory. So if now you write who am I, your root, okay, and let's get all the information for Docker that we have. You can do that by writing Docker info, okay. So you can see that now we're going to get some information about Docker, okay. And right here, if I go down and look for security options, okay, you can see that we're currently having installed the Apparmor and the Seccomp options, okay. So let's do Docker info, then let's do pipe, and let's search. So let's do grep Apparmor, okay, with A, okay. So you can see that here we're having the Apparmor, which is one of your security options. And if you want to find the directory of the Apparmor, this is the etc apparmor.d, okay. And if I write os, you can see all the files related to the Apparmor distribution. So if you want to install the different Apparmor profile packages, you can simply write, let's actually first go back to our root repository, and you can write sudo apt get install apparmor dash profiles, okay. And this will pretty much get you all the profiles and packages related to Apparmor for Linux. So there are few main files that you should and directories that you should pay attention for. So the first one is the etc Apparmor, okay, and this folder contains all the files to configure the daemon. Then you would have the apparmor.d, which is a folder that contains the rule set files that limit an application access to the rest of the system. So you can, of course, reconfigure the Apparmor, but for the purpose of this video, the default configuration will be completely fine. So from the security point of view, Apparmor proactively protects the operating system and applications against external and internal threats by applying specific set of rules for each specific application. So when you install Docker, it normally generates and loads a default profile for containers called the Docker default. And so Docker, with simple words, generates this profile and loads it to the Linux kernel. So basically, when you create a container, it will use the Docker default policy unless you override it with a specific security option. So for example, if I write docker run --rm -it, and then if you write security -op and then Apparmor equals to docker default, and then we run the application hello world, okay, this will create the hello world application with Apparmor as a security option. You can check the status of the Apparmor in the Docker host and determine whether Docker containers are running Apparmor profile or not. So you can do that by writing Apparmor status, okay, and you can see right here that we're currently having 82 profiles that are loaded, and we have 62 profiles that are in enforce mode. And if you scroll down here, you can see that we're also having this profile Docker default, which is basically assigning the security options for our Docker containers. So keep in mind that the default Docker option is now displayed in application mode as well. So as you can see, by simply running the Docker default, you're already adding valuable security options for your containers, and you pretty much don't need to configure absolutely anything. You can just use the security option right here and define the Apparmor Docker default, which is pretty simple. And if you want to apply Apparmor to your containers, you can definitely use this option in order to add some level of protection. So this is how you can configure Apparmor. Don't forget to use the Apparmor status command in order to always be able to check the status and the profiles of your processes. So in this video, I just also want to give you a brief introduction on the Seccomp profile, which is a different profile related to security. So each of the processes that we are executing on operating system have the option of interacting with the kernel through system calls. So the process could ask the kernel to perform some task, such as modifying a file, creating a new process, changing permissions to a directory, or using API by which the kernel gives access to the services. Many of the system calls are accessible to absolutely every process of the user area, but a very big part are not used for the entire life of the process. At this point, the Seccomp is a tool that allows you to limit the exposure of the kernel to the system calls for a specific application. So when you combine the Seccomp with other tools like namespaces, we can design a relatively secure application. So the Seccomp is pretty much a sandbox facility for the Linux kernel that acts like a firewall for the system calls or the syscalls. It uses Berkeley packet filter rules to filter the syscalls and to control how they are handled. So those filters limit the container access to the Docker host Linux kernel, especially for simple containers applications. So this option is normally automatically enabled on your Docker applications, and we saw it when we were checking the terminal. That was also one of the available options alongside with Apparmor. So since it is enabled automatically in most cases, you can be sure that Seccomp is applied to your project, and even though you don't need to interact with it, it is good to know that it is there and it is protecting your containers. That's it. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one, where we're going to talk about the Docker bench security. Thanks for watching.